3,000 teachers beg for donations for basic classroom supplies, despite NYC's record-breaking per-pupil spending. More than 3,000 New York City public school teachers are begging for donations for basic classroom supplies, even as the City Department of Education is projected to spend a record-breaking $42,000 per pupil when students return to school September 4th. What the fuck is this September return to school time? What? I had to return to school in fucking August. What are these kids doing? Teacher Shern Jackson is one of 3,385 city educators relying on the online fundraising, by the way, platform. Donors choose to fund items outside of their school's budget and beyond what they already spend out of their own pockets. She's asking for money for bandages, hygiene products like deodorant and menstrual pads.
Spare change, ma'am.
And warm clothing, because they're as essential to her low-income students as pencils, she told the Post. I cannot go and be like, hey, Department of Education, I need Band-Aids and I need sanitary napkins to have in my classroom, because my students are starting their cycles and they need the supplies. They'll look at me like, that's not important, but it is, said Jackson, who teaches 5th grade at KIPP All Middle School in Mott Haven, where 85% of students receive free or reduced price lunches. We have to pay for things out of pocket that are not being given to us. That's why I rely on Donors Choose, Jackson said. I remember these pictures of like teachers showing off empty cabinets. This has been happening for decades. NYC's public schools funding sources, city, state, federal, other. City gives $23.6 billion. Damn, those property taxes must go crazy. State gives $14.9 billion. Federal is $2.5 billion. And then other is a little tiny slice here, 0.2 billion. That's still a lot of money. Because this is all in billions, brother. What the fuck? Erica Yonks, an art teacher at the High School for Law, Advocacy, and Community Justice on the Upper West Side, also needs hygiene products plus art supplies. There's no other profession where you're expected to provide literally the basics that you need to do your job on your own, let alone what the kids need to. The 11th and 12th grade teacher said she gets around $400 from her school to spend on supplies for approximately 150 students, a measly $3 per pupil. That sounds like it's a school allocation issue. That sounds like they might not be giving you as much money as they should be. That's not, like, lobby your school, not the people who live there. What the heck? Under the Teacher's Choice program, the DOE afforded each teacher $235 reimbursement for supplies last year, if instructors turned in receipts. The reimbursement amount this year has not been set, but many educators say the fund only covers a fraction of what they expect to spend throughout the school year. The district funds schools on an equity-based per-pupil funding model, according to the Department of Education, which said that principals ultimately decide how to spend the dough. So it's like I said, it's the school not giving the teachers enough of the funding because they're keeping it for whatever the fuck else. I need basic teacher stuff, highlighters, pens, pencils, and copy paper, so it's a battle of spending my budget on logistical teacher needs and art stuff that I want the kids to experience. The Citizen Budget Commission projects the DOE will shell out $42,168 per pupil this year, up from last year's $40,639,000. Yet NYC teacher requests on Donors Choose is already up to a collective $4.1 million as the school year begins. This doesn't surprise me. They like, not the teachers. The teachers aren't going to benefit from this, but like the people who run the schools, they're just like, if the teachers can just get all of this crowdfunded, why would we give them money when that can just go into our paychecks? No teacher should have to fundraise for basic supplies, said Manhattan Institute fellow Daniela Souza Ergarov of the absurd need to crowdsource. Just another sign of the Department of Education's incompetence in managing public funds. We are proud to provide our schools with the resources they need to support their students and provide a world-class education. In addition to free school meals for every student, dedicated facility teams that keep our schools clean, and school nurses equipped to step in when needed, a Department of Education spokesperson said. We commend our educators who choose to go above and beyond raising extra funds for their classrooms and collecting extra resources for students who may need them. And I thought this was a really interesting article today. You know, really interesting article about how there's thousands of teachers in New York City just begging for supplies because they just don't get enough money. There's just not enough money. You know, teachers just don't have enough money. Oh, but teachers unions dump more than $43.5 million into liberal advocacy and Democratic PACs. There's just no money for pencils, you know? The two largest teachers unions in America gave more than $43.5 million to liberal advocacy groups over a 2-year period, including several massive payouts to Democratic political action committees during the 2024 election cycle. According to a new report from a conservative education watchdog group, the American Federation of Teachers, AFT, and the National Education Association, NEA, shelled out $43,524,123 between mid-2022 and mid-2024, per a Defending Education report based largely on union disclosures to the Department of Labor. The cash windfall went to lefty groups that back gun control measures, support racial equity, and gender transitions for minors, as well as abortion access. Union dues can't be forwarded to political campaigns through voluntary contributions can be made toward action funds that are supported by members. On its website, the NEA condones political activism so long as it's not in service of any event deemed outrageous and offensive, though it's unclear where union bosses draw the line. Sarah Parshall-Perry, Vice President and Legal Fellow at Defending Education, said in a statement the audit sheds much-needed light on exactly what the NEA and the AFT prioritize, and it isn't America's school kids. Teachers unions don't educate kids, Perry added. They seemingly exist for no other reason than to spend money, complain about parental involvement in their children's education, and advance left-wing causes wholly unrelated to improving educational outcomes in American schools. True and real. I can't think of anything good that a teachers union has done. The contributions included $9.3 million from both AFT and NEA to the left-wing For Our Future Action Fund PAC, which operated primarily in 2024 battleground states. Another $1.6 million also was funneled from AFT to the Democrat supporting House Majority PAC, $1.25 million to the similar Senate Majority PAC, and $250,000 to Future Forward, the primary super PAC backing Democratic nominee Kamala Harris's White House campaign last year. A big backer of former President Joe Biden's 2020 campaign as well, AFT President Randy Weingarten caught flack in the early years of the 46th president's administration for pressuring public health officials to keep schools closed amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Both the AFT and the NEA also pushed the Biden White House and administration health officials to delay the reopening of in-person learning in spring 2021. Bombshell emails and records obtained by other watchdog groups and congressional investigations showed in 2023. That's really weird. That's really weird. Why would teachers not want to go back to teaching? Get paid for doing nothing? Oh, were they getting paid the whole time? Yeah, if they were getting paid the whole time, that's kind of fucking weird. They got their full pay and had to do 1/3 of the work. Oh, that is grotesque. What the fuck? Weingarten also misrepresented scientific studies demonstrating it was safe for kids to be back in classrooms when testifying about COVID to Congress, according to the scientific authors of that research. Only in early 2022 did the Biden administration announce that 95% of U.S. public schools had returned to full-time in-person learning. Another $500,000 went to the 1630 Fund, a nonprofit managed by the dark money network Arabella Advisors, and sometimes portrayed as the left's answer to the right-of-center Koch network. President Trump on Wednesday called for liberal billionaire George Soros and his son Alex to face racketeering charges for their affiliation with dark money organizations, including 1630, that contributed more than $20 million to groups funding protests against this month's DC crime crackdown. Additionally, the NEA gave $100,000 to the Trevor Project, a transgender youth organization that some moms have accused of pushing their preteen children towards gender transitions. It's long been the case that teachers' unions have been hyper-political and given 99% of their donations to Democrats, added Erica Sanzi, Defending Education's Director of Outreach. What this report reveals is that they are also giving massive amounts of money to far-left organizations and causes that fight against academic excellence and inject harmful ideology into everything they touch. Students and school staff deserve to be shielded from these entities. Nearly 40% of the NEA's budget goes toward political advocacy. Freedom Foundation CEO Aaron Wythe told Fox News, which reported on the Defending Education document. You'd think, in light of the decline in union membership in recent years, that they'd start providing value to members that outweighs the cost of membership, Wythe told the outlet. Instead, they are appeasing the radical base of union members by advocating for men and women's sports, transitioning minors, anti-Semitism, and other radical ideological stances. In 2020, AFT gave more than $2.6 million to Democratic candidates, according to the political donation tracking website Open Secrets. The NEA contributed more than $2.4 million to Dems over the same period. So once again, really interesting that teachers' unions are spending this much money on activist causes, and yet teachers are just like, blue, we don't have enough money. We need more monies for them programs. Blue. Rivers in Japan are now facing the same fate as those in Canada, should Japan be worried. And this on the screen says, Kiryu Waterfall in Gunma. What the heck? Why is it written in Hindi? Well, I mean, those aren't Japanese people playing in the water. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. And then here's another one that says, this isn't New Delhi, it's Osaka. I saw, when did they all get there? When did this happen? Is Japan like fucking speed running any percent? I don't get it. What the fuck is happening? Why is Osaka filled with English and French? That's a great question. It's hard to believe Japan is going through this shit too, even if it's on a smaller scale. I don't feel like it's on a smaller scale. It feels like it's far more rapid than what happened in Western countries. RIP Japan, once a safe country. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on there. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know what they're fucking doing. Like this combined with like that weird JICA thing where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give special visas, and then the Japanese politicians coming out and being like, well, we're not gonna give special visas. And then another guy came out and they were like, well, there are special visas, but it's just temporary, don't worry. And it's like, okay, all right, okay. This is, you can say I love bacon in Morocco, but not in the UK. That's crazy when an Islamic nation unironically has more freedom than the fucking UK.
This is Morocco, an Islamic country. And it's here where I can buy pork bacon in supermarkets, served to me by Moroccans. I love bacon.
I love bacon.
I can say that in this Muslim country without fear of being arrested. However, in the UK,
we love bacon.
How can you arrest him for saying he likes bacon?
You're not allowed to say you like bacon, but he's around here, lad.
Could you explain that to me, please? Yeah, so it's anything that might be perceived to be racially abusive.
Mate, listen, a full English breakfast, yeah? What does that consist of?
so if you live in the UK and you want to be able to say nice things about pork, then maybe you should consider moving to an Islamic country.
That's true.
This is...
If you're a British person lamenting the lack of freedom you have in your home country, maybe move to a Muslim country. You'll have unironically more freedom under Sharia law than you do under the UK government. That's crazy. Why would Brits bother moving to a different Muslim country? Because at least they'd have better laws. We have, with less international students on campus, landlords are left with vacant units. That means lower rents. How do landlords feel about it? Landlords are not happy. Good. Good. They should have to pay penalty fines for renting to illegals.
Normally these streets are buzzing with people moving in, but this year it's eerily quiet this close to September 1st.
Now's a great time to find a great deal.
According to Boston Pads, the number of empty apartments here in Mission Hill is up 93% compared to last year. About a half a mile away in Fort Hill, that neighborhood saw a 74%
Those are
increase.
crazy
and
numbers.
Available apartments near Northeastern jumped by 154%.
Holy
compared
shit.
to a 5% rise across the city overall.
I also think that the universities will react differently next year and start their enrollment a little bit sooner because I think they were caught off guard.
Experts say there's a surge in empty units because less international students are getting visas.
On the past administration, this time of year, we would get a lot of inquiries. Now that's not really happening.
Boston University, Northeastern, and Harvard didn't respond to our requests for student enrollment data since the Trump administration's heightened vetting began.
Some people have very strong opinions on certain subjects, and that will make them not want to come to the U.S. and, commit to a long-term lease.
The U.S. is in a great fucking position right now. I know we read that article the other day of that unfortunate Ukrainian refugee who fled war only to get murdered because she lived in an urban city in America. It's like, yeah, there's still the crime issue, but now is a great time to be in America. Fuck off, we're full. Now is a great time to be here on a tourist visa or something. Check out some non-urban areas.
Knowing that their visa at any point, without any notice, may be revoked.
With less international students on campus, landlords are left with vacant units, and that means lower rents.
What you're seeing landlords do right now is they're paying the full brokerage commission, and they're also reducing rents because no one wants to go vacant.
Maybe college students who are American will actually be able to afford housing near their colleges for once.
On September 1st.
How do landlords feel about it?
I mean, landlords are not happy about it, but it's a free market, supply and demand, and they'll deal with it.
So if you're a student or just a procrastinating house hunter, now is your time to shine.
Because those poor landlords, say the socialists, if you need more proof, they're all idiots. It's crazy. I think landlords are fine. I don't have the socialist kill all landlords mentality, but it's like, if you've been renting to illegals, I'm not going to feel bad for you when you have to lower your prices to rent to actual citizens. Holy shit. I've seen this woman post things, and I don't remember who she is, but I've seen other people, quote, retweet them. Anyways, she says, as a woman, I'm more scared to walk the street because of aggressive far-right men that use immigrants to cover up their own predatory behavior than I am anyone else. Protect Women and Girls lot can't hold back their misogyny when they see a woman who doesn't agree with them. Very funny how little it takes for their masks to slip. Oh, remember that this is a dude. Thank you, Lord Miles. Thank you. I had no idea that this was... Oh yeah, they got the cotton candy flag. Okay, checks out. All right. Howdy ho. This is one that chose the bear. But somebody else quote retweeted with a little clip here. And said, reminder that every person left of center is essentially this. They believe rape is okay as long as it's brown. And I was like, what the fuck kind of clip could provide context for that? What the fuck? And then I realized there's a horse fucker in the corner. And I was like, oh boy, what are we about to fucking hear?
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because I'm over here.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna... Here, wait, hold on. I should probably move my webcam down because I'm blocking their faces. I've been doing it the whole video. I just want to say, do you think it maybe speaks a little bit to the fact that we have a rape culture when we put 6 people in a room together to talk about Me Too, and when they're like, hey, who of you have experienced sexual assault, and the 4 women sit down and they've all been raped and they all can barely choke out a coherent sentence. Do we think this perhaps maybe slightly speaks to the fact that there's a problem? Me Too has gone too far. False allegations are ruining people's lives. Okay. Who among you have experienced sexual assault? And every woman in the room starts crying? Almost every female friend I have has been the recipient of sexual assault or violence or rape or whatever at some point in their lives. Seriously. It's such a common thing. I think 1 in 4 is probably understating it.
So we're like 1 minute and 11 seconds into this video. And I don't really know how this relates to what the guy in the tweet said. I'm waiting.
Significantly. I wouldn't be surprised if the rate for sexual assault on women over one's lifetime was as high as 1 in 3 or 1 in 2. We just don't know because nobody fucking reports, because reports aren't taken seriously. That's what...
Well, where's that goose meme? Where's the goose meme with the who's doing the raping?
Me Too is about.
You're like, I don't think things are on the same level, but things impact you in like bizarre ways. But yeah, like because the perpetrator wasn't white, and because he was like, you know, part of like a certain religion.
Wait, are we being real?
And the police were basically just like, we can't because of cultural differences, which I don't feel like is such a good.
What? Bullshit! Are you fucking kidding me? Did she turn her fucking rape confession onto how the rape fugees fucking Ahmed Muhammad raped her and the police were like, oh, we can't persecute brown people? Bullshit! Bullshit!
Damn, he flipped his tune from like believe all women to let's mock this dumb bitch who got raped real quick. Holy shit! Holy fuck! I have not seen an abrupt turn like that since we watched that Indian migrant kill that family in Florida. Holy fuck. That was such a fast 180. Oh my god. How do you even say that and then think you're the good person? Oh my god. Solid proof that it's never about women, but hating men. You got whiplash from that. Way to disprove every point he just made and prove her point right. Yeah, exactly. She's talking about how like, oh, well, you know, I tried to report it, which is what he said. You know, people are afraid to report. She explained why she was afraid to report and what she was afraid to report, how it came true with the police being like, oh, you know, it's cultural differences. We can't do anything. And then he immediately starts mocking her for it. Oh my god, man. A TikToker has issued a warning claiming that more violence will take place targeting children in religious schools and churches. In his rant, he declared that it's their turn now, vowing to laugh as children will soon be slaughtered. We've had enough of your kind. Now it's time for Catholic and religious schools to face it.
And you know what? There's going to be a lot more of that coming up. You know, especially at these religious areas, you know, hey, we've had enough of your kind coming after public schools, right? It's about time, yeah, churches and Catholic schools and religious schools, it's about time they get their turn. That's what I think. I'm just going to sit back and watch people do it. And I'm going to fucking laugh. I'm laughing about yesterday. You guys want to laugh about us? We're going to laugh about you.
Okay, but like Catholics aren't killing gay people. What does he mean by this? When you start thinking about the insane rhetoric they use where it's like, oh, playing wizard game because of J.K. Rowling is literally trans genocide, or talking about preventing minors from being mutilated or giving hormones that could irreparably fuck them up. In their minds, they're like, this is actual genocide. They're trying to stop more trans kids from being created, and that's bad. And because they're trying to stop more trans kids from being created, we have to, in defense of ourselves, kill their kids so they know how it feels to have their kids taken away. And it's like, it's not even like Machiavellian, it's just actual insane levels of evil that cannot be described. You hope he knows he's now got a target on his back and opened himself up to retaliation offline. It's a little crazy. And it makes me think that, like, again, because a lot of these people have these like graphic murder fantasies, they have to project that onto their enemies and believe that their enemies not only want the same death wishes for them that they wish on their enemies, but that their enemies are actually out there doing that, and so they need to be the good guys who fight back. Not to mention, those he wishes harm might also be Democrats, since it's in blue states. It's because, like, they don't know how to think in nuanced ways. They just label people and then work off of that one label. Christopher John Hahn, who posted a video supporting the Minnesota church attack, has been revealed as an active donor to Act Blue. That's crazy. Employer disabled? I mean, it's only increments of $5, so it's not like it's crazy, but it's still like, that's not surprising. Let's see. News has been out for a day. There's no record of his arrest yet. A liberal who posted a video celebrating the attack on a Minnesota church holding Christian children and promising further attacks has been identified. Natick. I don't want to have that. I don't want to see that. I don't like, as much as I hate people, right? I don't want to see like their full fucking addresses posted. I think that's really bad behavior. Update. This was in response to Natick Police Department saw my post and investigated Christopher Hone, finding that he does not live in Natick and he doesn't work for Rosh Bros. Now they're investigating in coordination with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners. Hone opened a new page on TikTok, posting videos raging about Trump and reporting people who outed him on the app to get his previous account suspended. Well, that's interesting. That's also relieving that the docs I was scrolling past was not true. Community update. We're aware of a social media post that has been circulating online. As a result of our investigation so far, we've determined that the individual who made the post does not live in Natick and does not work for Rosh Bros. This matter is being taken seriously, and we're actively investigating in coordination with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners. Good. Good. That is a response I'd like to see.